Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's tutorial, I'll be showing you how to cut and sew a built-up neckline. So if you are interested in this kind of tutorial, please stick around. Just to appreciate all my subscribers and those that haven't subscribed. But what are you waiting for? Subscribe so you'll be the first to get notified when I put up a new tutorial. Thanks to everyone, so let's get started. I'll be using my pattern paper so it can be easily understood, and this tutorial is beginner friendly. This is the starting line, so leave about 3 inches above it because we'll be working on this side later. Now, impute the shoulder to bust point measurement. For me, that will be 9.5 inches. Then shoulder to waistline measurement, which is 15.5 inches. Do the same on the other side and connect the markings. The next thing to do is to impute your back neckline. Now the width I am using is 3 inches, so mark it. The depth is 1 inch, so mark. Then make your curve. The curve is not that important, but just to give it perspective. Impute your shoulder measurement and mark it. So this is 7 inches. Go down by 1 inch. Connect the point to the neck width to form the shoulder slope. From the slope, place your armhole length measurement, which is your bust circumference measurement divided by 6 plus 1.5. So I'll place 7 inches here, then connect both points together. Now just draw a line across to form the chest line. On the armhole line, mark half of the armhole length. Then on the chest line, place 1/4 of your bust circumference measurement plus 1/4 of an inch for ease and mark. So I'll place 8.75 inches on my chest line. Now from the midpoint here, make a curve to that point to form the back armhole. The next thing we'll be doing is to place our dart. Using half your nipple to nipple measurement, place it on the chest line. Do the same at the waistline. Then connect both points together. Now place half an inch on both sides of the line. Then at this point, go down by 1 inch. Then connect to form the dart legs. After the dart, we move to the waistline. Place 1/4 of your waist circumference measurement plus 1/4 of an inch for ease and mark it. Replace 1 inch for the dart you will be taking out and mark. Then connect from the armhole to that point. Moving to the built-up neckline, first extend the line up from the neck width. The height I am using for the built-up neckline is 2 inches. So mark 2 inches on this line, then do the same for the other side. Then connect together. On this line, go in by half an inch and mark it. Also at this point, come down by 1/4 of an inch and mark it. Okay, you can see that's 0.25. Using your curve ruler, make a slight curve. Next, on the shoulder line, mark half an inch from the neck width. Now, connect this point to the one up here using your curved ruler. Just blend it here. So this is the built-up neckline for the back bodies, okay? On the front bodies too, we'll be leaving 3 inches above the starting line, okay? Just like we did for the back. So from the starting line, place your shoulder to bust point measurement. Then you place your shoulder to waist measurement, mark on both sides. Then connect these points together. On the starting line, impute your neck width of 3 inches, which we also use for the back. Then the neck depth for the front is 3 inches. Connect both points with your curved ruler to form your front neckline. Place half your shoulder measurement on the starting line. Go down by 1 inch and mark it. Then, from this point, connect to the width of the neckline to form your shoulder slope. Now, impute the armhole length from the shoulder slope like you did for the back bodies. So place your armhole length there, then connect these 2 points together. Draw your line across to form the chest line. So we have our chest line, bust point line, and the waistline. Next, mark half of the armhole length and go inward by 1/2 inch. Make a mark there. Connect this mark to the shoulder slope. On the chest line, place 1/4 of your bust circumference measurement plus 1/4 inch for ease and mark it. Using your curved ruler, connect these points together to form your front armhole. The next thing to do is to place our dart. So, on the bust point line, you place half your nipple to nipple measurement and mark it. So I have 3 1/4 inches. I'll also go to the waistline and impute the same. Mark it and connect these 2 points together. On the line, come down by 1 inch and mark. Then, on the waistline, place 1/2 inch on both sides of the line. Now connect to the upper point to form the dart legs. Next, on the waistline, place 1/4 of your waist circumference measurement plus 1/4 inch for ease. So you mark it, then replace the 1 inch dart and mark it as well. Now connect this point to the armhole. Let's make a bust dart, okay? From this bust point line, go down by 1 inch and mark. Then connect that point to the bust point. From this point, go in by 1 inch and mark. Then also on both sides of the line, mark 1/2 inch. Then connect to this point to form your dart legs. You can use this method or do a princess dart instead. It's all up to you. The bust dart we are going to remove here, I'll just replace it at this point here, okay? So I'll just add 1 inch to it. Then I'll join it together. I'll do the same thing at the other side. I'll go down by 1 inch, mark it, then make a straight line to connect these 2 points together. Now that we are done drafting the basic bodies, let's jump into making the built-up neckline. From the neck width, draw a straight line upwards. On the line, mark 2 inches for the height of our built-up neckline, just as we did for the back. From this point, come in by 1/2 inch and mark it. On the shoulder line, also go in by 1/2 inch from the neck width and mark it. Then using your curve ruler, connect both marks together. So just blend it here. The next thing is to determine how deep you want the neckline to be. So from the neckline here, go down by 5 inches. Mine falls exactly on my chest line. It could be less or a little more depending on how deep you want it to be. But make sure you make it in such a way that the head can pass through, okay? I'm going to draw the shape of my neckline now, so I'll use my pencil first so I can make adjustments if need be. But before I continue, I will mark a point on this line of about 1/4 inch, okay? So I'll just mark 1/4 inch here. All right, so I'll not exceed this line, this point. So I'll continue my drawing. When I get to that point, I'll use my ruler to make a straight line to connect to the neck depth. I'll just use my marker to highlight it now. We are done with the built-up neckline, guys. So the next thing we do is to cut out our pattern, okay? At this point, fold the dart in like this. Blend it and continue cutting your pattern. Cut out your back pattern as well. These are both patterns. I'll just place them together to see if they match. Okay, I'll have to trim off a little bit at this point because I can see there's a little bit of excess there. Once you fold your dart, you can see that it balances. So now I'm going to trim off, then transfer onto fabric. Place the back pattern on the fabric. Make sure the fabric is on fold. Leave 1 inch for side seam allowance, 1.5 inches for zipper allowance, then 1/2 inch for joining allowance. At the shoulder, all the way to the built-up neckline, place 1/4 inch allowance round. Then pin down your pattern. After marking all your allowances, you can go ahead and cut out the fabric. So this is the back bodice. This is the front pattern. Okay, so make sure you place it on your fabric and the fabric is on fold. So add 1/2 inch for joining allowance here, then 1 inch for side seam allowance. Okay, then at the shoulder, all the way to the built-up neckline, you're going to add 1/4 inch. Okay, that's 0.25 of an inch. You can see what I'm showing you. Okay, so that's what I just did. I added that all the way to the top of the built-up neckline. So once you get to the top of the built-up neckline, just stop there because we are going to cut it all the way down to the opening, okay? So once you just stop on top of it, just mark it there and stop. The rest is going to be cut out. So you see what I'm doing as I go along. All right, so once you are done adding your allowances, what you're going to do now is to cut it out. So just watch carefully. From this point here now, you just cut it out. Cut out the fabric. Okay, so you see what I've done, all right? We are done cutting out the body, so it's time to transfer the darts. Place your thumbtack at the point of the breast dart. Remove the pins, then lift up your pattern paper. Use whatever you want, your marker or pencil or whatever, to mark the point on both sides, okay? Do the same for the waist dart. Mark the point on both sides. The next thing you're going to do is to extend the dart legs. After you extend the dart legs, you would snip it a bit, okay? Do the same for the best dart as well. Make sure you use any writing material that will not damage your fabric, okay? So you go ahead and do the same thing for the back bodies. For the back tightening, go in by 1/2 inch at the waistline of the pattern paper. Mark it, then connect to the top corner of the pattern using a straight line. From the edge of the fabric, go in by 1/2 inch also, okay? Remember that our allowance is 1.5 inches, okay? So go in by 1/2 inch from the edge and connect it all the way to the top edge of the fabric. Cut out the excess. At this point, you can draw out all your darts. The next thing we're going to do is to cut out the back facing. Remember, we have 1.5 inches for our zipper allowance. So I'll just mark 1.5 inches on my fabric at the neckline here. I'll mark 1.5 inches and fold it out of the way. Now I have a piece of fabric that is already on fold, so I'll just place this fabric over it and make sure the fold aligns. I'll pin it down at this point. I am using a width of 2 inches for my facing, so I'll just mark that here and begin to cut till I get to that point. Now bend over the fabric like this, then complete drawing your facing. When you're done, you cut it out. Now to the front facing. Place the fabric you want to use for the facing or fold. Place the front bodies over it and make sure that both folds are lined on top of each other, okay? Then you can pin them together. From the top also, measure 2 inches and mark. Now from that point, draw the facing anyhow you want it, okay? From the end of the opening, go down by 2 inches. Mark that point. That is where your facing is going to stop. So keep drawing the facing. At this point, I realized I was drawing on the bodies instead of the facing. So don't worry, just go ahead and cut out the neck opening. So you see what I'm doing? Just cut it out. Extend that line. Then keep cutting till you get to that point that you marked. Okay, so lift up your fabric now. Draw the facing. From the end point of the opening, make your mark 2 inches, then continue to draw your facing till you get to that point. So from there, you cut out your facing. So this is what we have. These are the facing. I have gone ahead to iron gum stay on it. You iron it on the wrong side. This is very important and it is what makes the collar to stand properly. For the front bodies, you place the facing over it like this, right side facing each other. Okay, so you are going to stitch it round the neck by 0.5 inches, 1/4 inch. All right, So for the back, it's a bit different because it's going to have zipper behind. So what you're going to do is you're going to place the two pieces of fabric on top of each other. Then you're going to go down by about 3.5 inches and mark it. Also at this point, you're going to leave 1.5 inches for the zipper allowance, okay? So you're going to leave the 1.5 inches. Then you're going to draw a straight line to connect these points. Then that is where you're going to stitch, all right? From that point all the way up, okay? So it's going to look something like this. Then you're going to place your facing over it this way. I hope you understand what I've just done. Okay, then you're going to stitch it by 1/4 inch also. Okay, so that's just it. This is what it looks like after attaching the facing to the front bodies. Okay, for the back, this is what it looks like. You can see the point where we joined it together. Then I attached the facing to the fabric here. Now we are going to notch before we flip over. Then we will iron it flat. Notch the front neckline also. Then flip it over and iron it flat. After that, the next thing to do is to take in all the darts, okay? So you go and take in all your darts for both front and back bodies. We are done taking in the darts and it looks so good after ironing, okay? So this is what the back looks like as well. You can see it, everything laying flat, and we've taken in the darts as well. Okay, so we're going to join them together. So the next thing you do is to place your fabric this way, right side facing up, then open the facing. Place the back bodies right sides facing each other. Now we are going to join it from the high neckline all the way to the shoulder, okay? So you place both fabrics together, place both facing together, making sure that they align at the joining, okay? So you see what I'm doing? Make sure that it aligns at that joining, so you check it very well. Then you can pin it in place, okay? So pin both the facing together, all right? Then also you go to the shoulder slope and pin it also. So you see what I'm doing? You go to the other side and do the same. Align it at the joining. Pin it together. Then pin also at the facing. Then also move to the shoulder slope and pin together. Now take to your machine and stitch by 1/4 inch. All right, so you do so on both sides. Then you also stitch the side seams by 1 inch. Okay, so we are done stitching it at the side and also at the shoulder. Okay, so you can see it and the alignment, everything aligned. So you are going to flip it over. So make sure you adjust the seams inside, adjust it and fold it over. Okay, so let's turn it to the right side now. You can see how beautiful it's looking. All right, so our top is finished. You can attach whatever you want to the bottom. The emphasis of this tutorial is just the built-up neckline, okay? So I'll just show you the final look of my built-up neckline dress. Okay guys, so this is the finished look. Okay, I use my hemming gum to fasten the facing Okay, so you can do the same, or you can just whip it, whatever you want. I also folded it in at the armhole. So this is just how it looks like, guys. I hope you enjoyed the tutorial. If you have found something useful in this tutorial, please give me a thumbs up, share to your family and friends, leave your comments in the comment section, and don't forget to subscribe. Thank you, and see you in my next video. Bye.